Hello and welcome to another edition of the Josh Hose Show. I'm your host, Heaven Young, and with me today is the head coach of Massillon Tigers, Josh Hose. We want to thank our sponsor, Reliable Heating and Cooling. So, Coach, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Well, okay. After a pair of wins last weekend, the Tigers are now 4-6. Last Friday, you won Youngstown Ursuline. Tell us more about the final moments in that game.
Well, it was a very close game. We were kind of in a dogfight the whole second half. I think there was like maybe 4 or 5 lead changes throughout the second half. We didn't shoot it well from the foul line. We were 10-23 as a team. I think we were 4 of 13 maybe in the fourth quarter alone. But real proud of the guys. I said that's the games that when you kind of find a way to win those. It's really shows that you kind of bought into being a team because it was everybody contributing a little bit here, a little bit there, from different guys. Probably 6-7 different guys contributed towards the end of the game in different ways. So it was a really tough opponent too. We're going into a tough environment up in Youngstown. Usually don't get a lot of calls up there, and we talked about that before the game. The guys really just embraced the adversity and fought through it and got a really tough, needed win after a tough game we had last Tuesday against Glen Oak. We really needed to bounce back, and our guys did it in a great way.
Okay. On Saturday night, your team fell behind in the early Tiger gym, but then came back to beat Warren Harding. What are you most proud of following that win?
Well, again, going back into like the adversity, we've been challenging our guys to kind of embrace that a little bit and respond better to it. And early in the year, if we got like a 5-6 point deficit, we'd have a 2-minute lull where it turned into 17, 18 points, and they got hot early. They were hitting a lot of shots, and so we get down 15 at the end of the first quarter. I think they got up to 17 early in the second quarter at 26-9, and called a timeout. We challenged our guys. By halftime, we put a little run. Right before halftime, we put a 10-2 run in to cut it down to 7 or 8. And so we went into halftime feeling pretty confident, like, get this to a couple possession game. Came out second half, and I think I was just proud of the guys bouncing back, where before we had a 17-point deficit would have turned into 20-25. And then we just dug ourselves a hole so deep we couldn't come out of, and we've just been really challenging the guys to just chip away at when we're down, just chip away at leads, and we did a great job of that. Just take one possession at a time, and so I think I saw growth out of our team again after a tough loss at Glen Oak. I just wanted to see how we responded, and our kids responded really well with 2 big tough wins this weekend.
Okay, how important has your bench unit been in the last couple games?
The bench is huge, and we've been talking to too, even some more so the guys that aren't even playing right now, like the energy they're bringing, the excitement that they're getting after their teammates and supporting is really awesome. And then we had some key guys come off the bench. I look like a kid like Jaden Wise, who hasn't played a ton of varsity minutes, came and played some important minutes for us in the Friday game over at Ursuline, and just a couple minutes here and there can make a big difference in a game, a close game like that. Luke Sabo, a sophomore, hits a layup to put us ahead in the last minute at Ursuline, and hits a 3 in a tie game with a minute left against Warren to put us ahead there. So, to have the guts to step up as a sophomore and do that 2 nights in a row was just huge. And I just, those guys don't understand sometimes how big those contributions are, because we're playing a lot of minutes with our starters. So every minute they give us off the bench is, vital. And so they've been huge in our wins. I think a lot of times just the contributions and then the energy they're bringing to support their guys that are on the court.
Have the past 2 wins helped your team's confidence and help you get back into practice this week?
I absolutely think that. Again, we were kind of dead on the mat, and Tuesday we had a nice talk with some of the guys afterwards, and Glen Oak played really well. We played really bad, and when you do that, you get beat, pretty convincingly. So we challenged guys how we're going to respond. It's one game, so you don't give up on yourselves. And I told them, I said, I've coached enough that we've gotten our butt kicked before, and I've kicked some butt before, on teams, and so it's like next game. So to come and get 2 tough wins against 2 quality teams, really got us. You kind of like when you win close games like that, you feel like, hey, we got a team that will fight. And I think I saw that we learning how to close games out, which is really tough to do, how to win games, and. We needed that. We needed that going into a tough stretch here. Got a great opponent on Saturday coming in, but practice this week, we're going to get back after it. We really challenged them last week, and today actually Monday we took the day off and got together as a team and did some team bonding off the court, which was really cool. I felt like we had some really grew as a team there even, and I think that definitely the wins were part of that.
We'll talk more about Coach Hose and about his team's upcoming games and the visit from our Tiger players in the moment. But now this first word from Reliable Heating and Cooling.
Everything that goes into a Lennox system is engineered for absolute comfort. Like the parts that create your perfect temperature and humidity, or the parts that purify the air. Together, all these parts save you up to half off your heating and cooling bills. And there are few things more comforting than that.
The future of home comfort is here now at Reliable Heating and Cooling. Get the latest innovation and technology at Reliable. Lennox. Innovation never felt so good.
Thanks to Reliable Heating and Cooling, and we're back with the Josh Hose Show. Our player this week is Anthony Pedro. So, Anthony, your teams won 2 games last weekend. Do you see those wins as confidence builders heading into the rest of the season?
Definitely a confidence builder. Any weekend where you get 2 wins is a really good weekend, and I feel like we came together a lot closer this weekend.
Okay. You saw a lot of varsity action from a sophomore last season. How, as your junior year, what's your role in this team?
My role is just being a good defender every night and just being the energy guy, bringing energy to the court to all my teammates. And that's really about it.
Okay. What did you do in the off season to improve your game?
Just always get shots up. Just anytime I can, come in the gym, get on the gun, just shoot a lot of shots.
Despite your team's slow start this season, what do you like most about being on this team?
Just everyone who's playing on the team, we really just got a lot closer. We started off a little rough, but we're getting a lot closer and having a lot of team spirit.
As a kid growing up, who was your favorite basketball player and why?
My favorite basketball player, probably LeBron, even after he left Cleveland. Just the impact that he has on and off the court is really monumental to the game.
And finally, tell us what practices are like with your new coach.
A typical practice, it's a combination of shooting drills, transition drills, 5-on-5 live drills, just a lot of that.
Well, thank you, Anthony, and good luck the rest of the season. Coach, how do you see Anthony's role on the team?
Anthony's one of the guys that any team I've ever coached that's been any good has had an Anthony. And they're a glue player that will do whatever they're asked to do. They'll guard any position. They'll do the things that don't get noticed in the box score as far as like taking charges, making the extra pass, diving on the floor, setting good screens. Just little things that result in wins, but don't always, like I said, get the credit that they deserve. But his teammates value him, and they know how important he is. His coaches understand how important he is. So I think his role is just as important as, like, say, a Brett Martin, who's our leading scorer, because he does a lot of things to free up Brett to be able to get some of the shots he does and all that. So, any good team has a guy like that that's willing to do those things to kind of like that selfless acts to help his teammates win.
Well, this Saturday, your team is facing the Cincinnati Molars. What can you tell us about the Crusaders?
Molars coming in #1 in the state, undefeated. We played them last year down there. They handled us pretty well. They were, I think, state champs last year. So there's a lot of factors there, and they graduated a lot of guys, but they got, they're a private school. They bring a lot of guys back, and they bring some guys in. So we're preparing to go out, and like we just told the guys, we got to go out and compete. And you can't go into it and say, no, it's #1 team in the state, and kind of hang our hat on oh man, it's going to be a rough night. You go in and you compete and you play possession by possession, just see where the score is at the end of the game. And it's going to be a challenge, we know that, but that's kind of, that goes back, and I think we've been challenged guys to embrace adversity and embrace the challenge. So it's a great opportunity for us. It's a measuring stick to see, #1 team in the state, like, do we measure up to them, or do we have some work to do? So looking forward to that challenge, and hopefully that our guys are looking the same way.
Okay. Well, next Tuesday on the 22nd, you guys face Andrew Osborne's Academy. So what can you tell us about the Phoenix?
I got to go up there and try to scout them the other day. Caught part of their game, and it's a different opponent. Luckily, I got some film on them. So because I never even heard of the school until August when we scheduled the game. So yeah, they're going to be. It's going to be kind of a mystery. I haven't really looked at their film yet. I've been focused a lot on Moeller, but like I said, once we get some film on them, we'll know. They play kind of a schedule that's even hard to judge off of that because I don't know a lot of the schools they play on their schedule. It's a private school in the east side of Cleveland. Now, from looking at some of their scores, they'll put up some points, and so we got to be ready to play some defense and get up and down and stop them in transition. But at the same time, right now, we've been focused a lot on our Saturday game, and then, when Tuesday gets here, we'll be ready to go for that one.
Well, your team is halfway through the regular season, so what kind of mid-season report card could you give your team?
Well, it's hard to say. I would say probably a C minus. It's a good question because I feel like we've had such. From week to week, it seems so long. We've had some games, our team has had so many peaks and valleys that it's hard to say. Like, we've had some A+ moments and we've had some probably F moments. And so that averages out to a C. But I'm really proud of the guys because, like I said, we got a late start. A month into the season, we're getting our guys in from football, and that's a majority of our basketball, varsity guys. So we've had to grow together on the run. I mean, and kind of a trial by fire. We've had to go through some games where we're maybe not quite at the top of our game or ready to play yet because we're still learning some stuff. I'm optimistic. I think that we can continue to grow, and like I said, I'm seeing some life out of this team that I like, and seeing some fight out of them. And that's what the biggest thing I was worried about early in the year. We didn't have that fight, so I'm looking forward to that second half.
Well, thank you, Coach. And as we wrap up this edition of the Josh Hose Show, we'd like to thank Reliable Heating and Cooling, Anthony Pedro, and Coach Hose. I'm your host, Heaven Young, and as always, go Tigers.
Massillon City Schools is proud to have one of the top career technical education programs in the state of Ohio, recently receiving a #1 ranking of the 93 districts in the area of achievement. Our career technical education department offers 14 pathways preparing students for college and careers. All students have the opportunity to participate and compete in their career technical student organization, as well as obtain valuable experience in the field while earning aligned industry credentials and/or college credit in high school. Visit massillonschools.org for more information.